Let's go. Welcome everyone to episode 35 of the Save State. I am joined by an eclectic cast of characters this evening. And you know what? I'm going to start with you, Yako, because you haven't been here in a while. That's because you've had some life changes. Any updates you want to share with us?
Me and my wife had a baby girl, eh?
Hey, let's go.
That's a W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. She's
bless.
beautiful. Keeps mom awake. Mostly, I try and help where I can, but yeah, no, she's awesome. Just,
Yeah.
Really
You sent
enjoying
me
it.
you sent me a picture of you and her, and she is adorable, like for real.
yeah.
I don't always think that about babies, but you got
Yeah,
a
no,
cute
me
one. You
neither.
got a cute one.
Yeah, no, me neither, but yeah, she's awesome. She's got dad's hair, sort of, I think.
For now, well, let's hope that changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, we're glad that you're back with us tonight. I know that babies certainly change your schedule. They
Yeah.
change your schedule up. And you said it's cold down there, so it must be hitting winter months for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. It is, yeah. Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
all nice and clothed up, jacketed up.
I'm sitting here in my my like sports shorts, burning up here using a tiny camera because I don't want the heat from the big camera. It's burning up where I am.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man. Zach, how is it going, brother? How you doing?
It's going well, man. Just been enjoying the 3-day weekend.
Mhm.
It's been lazy this weekend. Today was the first day me and the wife adventured out today, and then we quickly came back home. It is flipping hot. It is so hot, and everywhere we go, it's like, do they not understand how the AC works? It's like they keep it on 75, and it's like,
Oh,
I have
man.
good circulation. I don't need it hot where I go. I need it cold. So, but Amy's like, well, you literally have it like polar bears in our house. We keep it like 63 when like
Oh
we
my
keep
gosh!
it cold.
Wow,
Yeah. So,
man, you must have a nice fat bill at the end of every month. You keeping it 63 over there.
it's not bad actually. It's
That's
not bad
good.
at all. Yeah. If it was outrageous, I'd be like, all right, we're gonna sweat this thing out. But
We got some good insulation, I guess. Then that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all got to spend some time together. That's cool.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Had a good day. Yeah. Sorry it was so hot though.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I'll
feeling
talk
you.
to the big man. I'll call him up after this. I'm like, hey man, can you fix this?
And Yugi 601. I don't know where you are, but we're glad that you're here.
Thank you. I'm settled in the new place right now that I'm staying at
You're in a
temporarily for now.
rocking chair.
I know, right? I look like a grandpappy gonna give some W advice right now. I'm like, sit down, my child.
I
He's
would
got his plant
Yeah,
babies.
Yeah,
I would
you look
love
like
for you to give me
I'm
advice.
supposed to be looking.
Yeah.
Tell you a story, younglings. But no, like literally, like it's funny because there's literally like two chairs in front of me. I could literally lecture some youngins right now, but no, I'm in the porch right now. I'm surrounded by greenery. Praise God, But we're here. We made it. I appreciate you having me, man.
I appreciate you being here, dude. There's speaking of the good old days, Grandpappy. You guys remember how Yako? I don't know how it is or was in South Africa, but do you remember like when we used to get midnight releases of stuff?
Good
Yeah,
old days.
Yugi, did you ever go to any midnight releases of anything?
Absolutely,
Grandpappy?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was like peak nerddom right there. Like Halo when that had midnight releases.
Yeah.
The ones that I went to specifically were two. I went to two Metal Gear games, Metal Gear 4 and Revengeance, Rising Revengeance. Even though like no one was there, it was like me and one other guy. But the Metal Gear 4 one was pretty, yeah, like that's such a niche game, right? but the one that was decently like I remember being there, and it was like mad awkward because it was like me and my dad, right? And like all the people who were Metal Gear fans were like well over the age of 30, you know? And you got little old me who's like barely 18 because I need parental permission to get that game, you know?
Oh yeah.
And they're all just like, I was like, listen, I love this game because it's very like, Metal Gear is very story driven if you guys don't already know. So yeah, I had to go to that midnight release. I had to play the day it came out, and I'll never forget it. It's good times.
Metal Gear is a franchise that I've never like had a good opportunity to play and get into, but it's one of those that's like always in the back of my mind. I gotta go play this someday, you know.
Snake Eater's coming out.
Yeah, that's a good chance because that's technically it's not the first entry. No, actually, it is. It's the first chronological. Yeah. So it's not a bad place to start. No.
Just know you probably won't know what the crap's going on. Like that's just Metal Gear in and of itself.
Yeah. It's more like there's a lot of lore, but there's more you can grasp than like let's say like Bloodborne or like a Souls game. Like Souls have a lot of lore, but it's like kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Whereas in Metal Gear, it's more like they're gonna give you a lot of information. You just kind of got to parse it out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I played a little bit of the original one from PlayStation on one of these handhelds. I can't remember which one, but it was like the controls were like pretty clunky, and I was having a hard time with it. You know, like I think I played through the first 2 or 3 levels, and then I moved on to something else, and I didn't finish it. I want to play it on like a bigger screen with some better controls or something, but.
Yeah, I wish they would update one, not necessarily like graphically, but like help the controls because they have not aged well. That
it's got those like
clunky
tank controls. Yep. Is that what you call them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
was having a hard time with that.
I read that one of the games, the boss Psychomantis would actually read your saves. Or something, or the games that you played in there and talk to you about it. So yeah, that's quite interesting. That must have freaked a lot of people out.
Man, it was so unique for its time. As I sit in my grandpappy chair and talk about the 90s,
sipping your sweet tea over there.
Yeah, literally, right? It was so cool because what they did was, I don't know why. As a kid, it blew my mind. I swear, some of these games I shouldn't have been playing, but anyway. Right, so he tells you to put your controller down, and with the power of his mind, he's going to move the controller, right? All it does is just activate vibration like crazy, right? But it is moving, you know? So as a kid, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so next level. Wow, you know?
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
I like that.
And then you had to like switch your controller from player 1 to player 2 to be able to like negate his powers and all of that. So yeah.
Huh. Because the whole time he just reads your controller movements. So you have a phone, basically. They call it a codec, but you basically have a phone, and you're like spam calling your boss. I'm like using very layman's terms, but you're like spam calling your boss to figure out a way to beat this boss.
Yeah.
And I think I called him like, what is it, like 3 or 5 times, and then eventually he's like, hey, plug the controller into controller port 2, and Snake's like, what? He's like, yeah. If you do that,
like breaks the fourth wall.
He literally. He's like, if you plug it into controller port 2, then he won't read your movements. So you literally unplug your controller, put it into port 2,
which is like something you're not supposed to be able. You're not supposed to do that.
No. It's and then you do that. You plug it in. You start slamming this boss. He's easy, right? Easy work. And then I love that after you beat him. At the end, it's like, oh, by the way, you got to plug it back into controller port 1. It's funny.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I've forgotten it.
Very unique. Yeah.
And which game was that? The first one?
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
Wow.
On PlayStation, yeah. And then like Zach was saying, like depending on what games you have saved on your memory card, he'll like critique your character. So he'll say like if you don't have any save games except for like Metal Gear, he'll be like, what are you, boring or something? You don't play anything? Like. Yeah. It's funny, man. It's funny.
That is funny. Wow. Well, I was. Any other midnight release stories?
Oh yeah, dude. I remember going to Halo 3, stayed out all night, and where I had to drive like when I lived, because I was in high school, I was a senior. I had to drive like 45 minutes there. So me and my best friend were in the car, and I remember like being in the mall, and then I didn't have an Xbox, so I wasn't even buying it. I was literally there for my friend, and
Was
then
it Derek?
No, this is Robbie. I didn't know Derek at the time. And then we got home and we played maybe like 5 minutes, and then we went to sleep. We were just like, all right, I'm tired. But dude, I went to so many midnight releases in college, from Fable to Modern Warfare, like the goggles. And back then, like the legendary or like the most expensive versions of the games like came with cool stuff. Now it's like now it's just like bobo, like cheap made stuff. Back then it was like like I have the Master Chief helmet somewhere in this studio, and this is like it's literally right there from Halo 3.
Put it on.
This one you can't wear.
Oh,
But like look how cool that is.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool. And
It's
then
huge.
and then the game would go inside there. But yeah, you can't wear it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like I just remember going to so many. I spent so much money on video games back in the day. But yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Modern Warfare 3 came with the top tier version came with actual night vision goggles.
Yep. I got those too. I'll tell this story real quick. I remember I got them and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start using them because I lived with like 3 other people, and I would like go into the kitchen in the middle of the night with my night vision goggles and make sandwiches. And I remember one time like someone throwing the lights, I'm like screaming because it's blinding me, because they actually worked.
Interesting, eh?
That's hilarious. Wow. That's
Man.
amazing. Welcome, Jason.
Welcome.
What's up, guys? What's up?
What's up?
We're just talking about midnight releases back in the day when we used to have those.
I'll join right into the party here. I have a terrible story about a midnight.
Let's hear it.
So I was young. Let's preface the story with I was young. But it was, I can't remember what game it was. It was like, I don't know, like Halo 2 or something, whatever. But, we were hanging out outside of the GameStop, and there was this really cute girl, right? And we were talking about video games. Like a unicorn, a really cute girl talking to me about video games.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she smoked and I didn't.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you want to smoke? And I pretended to smoke just so I could keep the conversation going. It was the worst. I know I probably looked like I was faking it, but it was so awful. It is not a proud moment. I
She's
cringe
like,
about that
this
moment.
dude over here
She's
doesn't
like-
know how to smoke.
It's like you lit the wrong end, man.
I'm like holding it like it's like the 1950s gangster movie or something. It was so awkward. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible stuff.
Oh, wow.
We didn't have a lot of those here in South Africa, but we had a big LAN over here. Big get together, linking computers. For those who don't know, but I don't, you should all know. So it's like close to 2,000 people in one building playing together. Yeah, so the tickets sell out like within hours. But it's the only big event in South Africa. Well, it's like once a year, so still going. But when we went, we got there like the day before, the evening before, because we wanted the best seats, because the seats aren't allocated.
Yeah.
So you're sleeping right in front of the door there on stretchers. And I remember the one guy brought his PC on a like a little trolley, because it's big and heavy, obviously, his PC box.
Yeah.
Came off there and fell down the stairs.
Oh no.
Bye-bye, PC.
Yeah.
Wow. after sleeping outside all night.
Yeah, no,
Man.
you really feel for that. Really felt for that guy.
Yeah, there's it used to just be such a big thing here, just the midnight releases, and there was, I mean, you know, you go to your local store and there'd be people there and hanging out grilling hot dogs, or you'd have pizza or whatever. Like they'd be giving out pizza or whatever, and people would be dressed up and they'd wait for 12:01, you know, and then they open up the registry and you get your game, you know, and it's just a fun time, just because everybody's excited about the same thing, and kids now don't understand, like this. They've never had that experience, and
Yes,
I remember like me and my
Xbox
college
Live.
roommate Zach. You said you didn't have an Xbox, but your friend did. I'm Halo 2. My college roommate had an Xbox. I did not, but we went and he pre-ordered it, and we went and got it at midnight. Got back at like 2 a.m. Popped it in, played for like 2 straight hours, like till 4 a.m. and then had to go to class at like 8 o'clock in the morning. But you know, it was awesome. Like I'll never forget how much fun that was. You know,
Yeah. I always regretted being sleepy, getting home after the midnight release, and getting online and meeting up with all the people you exchange gamer tags with. But it's like, I'm actually kind of sleepy, guys, but let's go ahead and play.
Well, and it's the online model is the reason why all that died. Like everybody going digital, and I like digital, but that social aspect is gone of waiting outside the store. Even like back in the day, you would wait outside the movie theater. Like very rarely happens anymore. Like I remember, Phantom Menace, it was wrapped around the building 4 or 5 times or whatever, and Harry Potter the same thing. But it's like
Lord of the Rings.
It's like I'll just wait until it comes on streaming.
I know.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
as good. It's not as good.
That's the death of LAN as well. They killed local multiplayer basically.
Yeah. There was a place where I grew up that had like it was like an office space, but they had converted it into a LAN gaming space, and you could rent out multiple rooms, and they had different games you could choose from, and you go in and rent it out and play with your friends for an hour or 2 hours, or how much time you paid for. It was awesome. They just had it all set up. You could go anytime you wanted, pretty much. It was really cool. But,
I remember.
And you're all in the same room playing, but you can't screen peek like you do like on console. But you can shout at each other and punch the guy next to you if you need to or whatever. Like it's different. It's fun. It's fun times.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember it usually took like an hour or two just to get everything going, especially when you started doing that, getting together, because everybody's PC is different operating systems.
That's what was great about this place, is that they had it all already set up for you. It stayed set up,
I can imagine.
And that was really cool. But yeah, the movies are sad too, because I went to so many more of those than I did games. The midnight launches for movies. Do you remember? Some of y'all probably went to see the Avengers when it came on. That was such a huge event. Like I don't know if I've ever seen more people at the theater for Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or any of it than I did the Avengers, and people were so hyped about that movie.
Yeah,
it was insane.
That was one of the movies where I heard the most reactions in game.
Oh yeah, in-game had
when stuff happens. When Cap picks up the hammer, everybody cheers. When Iron Man dies, you hear people crying.
Yeah. I went to the midnight release of Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. So the third movie in that series, and waited in line, I don't know, for like 4 hours or something that night. Got in, it's like a 3.5 hour movie, like the theatrical release. And it got to the climb. I'm not going to spoil this. I don't have hope after 20 years for anybody, but the climax of the movie, you see, like they finally get to Mount Doom, and Frodo decides to put on the ring, and you see his footsteps walking away or what through the sand.
Yeah.
And right in that moment, it's just like, I don't know, 2 hours and 45 minutes into this movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, within the blink of an eye, a split second, the screen goes black
Oh.
and a Coca-Cola ad pops up
What?
on the screen. Right there, the climax of the entire trilogy. And everybody
I'd be
was like,
so
"What?"
mad. I would be so mad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a
People were
long
throwing
movie.
stuff, I'm guessing.
It's a long movie, and you know what happened? Somebody they had it on 2 screens because it was all on reel-to-reel film.
Yeah.
And so they only had it on 2 screens, and one of the screens started having an audio issue. So the tech left the booth, and when he left the booth, somehow the film came off the reel, and all of it was in the floor. So they had to wind it all back up and then fast forward it all back to that point in the movie. It took an hour. And we just sat
That's
there and
bad.
waited, like everybody in the theater
Yeah,
for an
because
hour.
you had to
Oh.
see. You had
Yeah.
to see it.
And then finished the movie. And it was like 5 a.m. when we got out of there. It was crazy, but I wouldn't trade it for anything because it's just one of those great memories.
I can feel the late night hangover headache from hearing that story. I can feel it.
Yeah. Oh man,
Guys,
Well,
it's a bit of topic, but can I ask, what did you guys think of the Rings of Power on Amazon?
I
Has
actually
anybody seen it?
enjoyed the show. The first few episodes, I was like it didn't feel like Galadriel. Didn't feel like Galadriel that we know in like the actual thing.
Yeah,
But I feel like it, with the limited material that they had to be able to use, because they only had like the rights to like the appendix to be able to do all of this. I think they did a pretty good job. But the music, Bear McCreary, he was the guy that did the God of War music, God of War and God of War Ragnarok, crushed it. But I enjoyed it. I thought the second season was really good as well. So
yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like it though.
The only thing I don't like is Elrond kissing his mother-in-law.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
that's-
just
I think it's okay
you
to
just
like that part.
you just blank out on all those things.
Yeah.
oh man, I haven't seen it. I saw the first scene of the first episode where Galadriel takes down the big troll thing.
Ice troll thing.
Yeah, all these other warriors are in there with her, and they all get taken down, and she jumps in and saves the day. I was like, I just can't right now, so I turned it off, and I never went back to it. But I keep hearing good things from people about it who have continued to watch it.
Yeah, I think the story does pretty well, and the dwarves are probably like the coolest part of like getting to see Troncheem and all of that, like where the Balrog in the first movie comes from and everything. Like getting to see that is so cool.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know,
I agree.
Not Troncheem. I'm thinking of Aragon. That's not Troncheem. Sorry, that's where the dwarves are in that book. What is that? Minas
No, Moria.
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 Yes,
Moria.
Moria.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place, but you know,
It's okay.
like Troncheem. Yeah, that sounds right.
I thought you were talking about Thrawn, one of the dwarven kings. Didn't know that character.
Hey, we got there eventually.
We did.
We got.
Well, I definitely missed the midnight releases. And if you have a midnight release story, let us know in the comments your favorite midnight release game or movie. We'd love to hear from you tonight. A reason I bring it up is because speaking of things just being different since the internet has kind of taken over, like you guys said, I went into a GameStop yesterday. I don't ever go into a GameStop.
Did
I don't
you
remember
buy
the last
Funko
time.
Pops?
I didn't. I looked at them, but I thought this is an overpriced piece of plastic. I just can't. I can't justify. They don't make them bobbleheads anymore, and that really bothers me. Like, if they were still bobbleheads, I'd be more inclined to spend the money, I think. But
I saw somewhere the other day that Funko Pops are like the precious moments, but for nerds.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. Yeah. Precious moments are for grandmas, and Funko Pops are for nerds. Yeah, that's good. Well, I went in there, and just because we were kind of out shopping, just like bumming around, didn't really have an agenda, just out with the family, and it was there, so I just went in, to see what they had and stuff, and I was talking to the employee. There was one guy working in there, and I was talking to him, and I said, started asking him about the Switch 2 launch and if they had a bunch of pre-orders, in for that store. And he was like, actually, yeah, we've got quite a few. And he said, and I think we're gonna have a few extra that are showing up to the store at launch. And he's like, I don't know how many. I don't think it'll be very many, but I think it's gonna be at least 3 or 4 or something like that. It's like, well, that's awesome, man. And he was like, yeah, we're doing a midnight launch party. And I was like, really? So this GameStop, I think a lot of them are having a midnight release party like the old days for the Switch 2. And he was like, yeah, I'm going all out. We're gonna have a TV over here. We're gonna be playing Smash Brothers, and we're gonna open the doors at 8, which is when they normally close, but the party's gonna start at like 8:01 or whatever. And I can't remember something else. And they're gonna have pizza. There was like a pizza joint next door, like a local pizza place next door. It's like we're picking up pizza from them, and we just have free pizza. We're gonna hang out, and at 12:01 we'll get the people their consoles. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. That's a good time. And I was thinking, maybe I should go. Like, I don't have one pre-ordered from them, but maybe I should just go hang out, and maybe, I don't know, make a video out of it, even see what people's reactions are. Or, I don't know. I don't really have it fully thought out, but I probably won't go because it'll be late and whatever. But
just take the next day off.
Well, I might take some of it off. I do have one pre-ordered. It's supposed to be here by 9 a.m. on launch day, and so I am planning on putting out a short overview video on launch day for the Switch 2. But and I'm going to try to hide it from my son for the first couple of weeks so I can make some video content on it.
He's probably like super excited
he doesn't know I pre-ordered it, so
okay.
So yeah, he is super excited though. I've been like purposefully not telling him the date so he doesn't put it on any of the calendars or anything in the house. So he's not always asking about it. Just I'm kind of playing dumb with it for now. But we lost Yuki.
Oh boy.
The rocking chair finally got to him, I guess. Oh no, here he is. Here he is. There he is.
My bad, wrong button.
Oh. Where's the rocking chair?
Yeah.
What happened to it?
We had to switch over to the big old comfy couch.
Okay.
I gotta charge my phone, man.
Oh, I hear you.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're still getting set up from the move?
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of desk I'm gonna have set up, or if I'm even gonna have one to begin with. So
yeah, cool.
I don't know. No, maybe I might be the goofy goober with the phone camera from now on.
Hey man, I've used cardboard boxes for my desk before.
There you go. Yeah. Whatever works.
My desk right now is a piece of plywood that I slapped up here on the wall. That's literally what it is. So
there you go.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, so I don't know. What would y'all go to a midnight release party like that?
Oh, definitely. Sounds awesome.
I would if the next day was a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I had the day off. I not as young as I used to be.
Yeah. I'd be feeling the effects of it for like a week. So I would want to go. I would definitely want to go for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to like prep for it. I'd have to make sure. All right, I think like I
nap.
swear we sound like a bunch of old heads. We'd have to like I'd have to like take a nap, have some caffeine prepped,
Hydrate.
hydrate, eat certain things. Yeah, like literally, I'd have to prep for it before it even happens. But I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yugi's got his Pedialyte over there. He's just like
Sitting in a wooden rocking chair drinking tea over here.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
I'm currently at a midnight release party.
Yeah, you are.
Right.
Yeah, with the baby. Yeah,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
night is.
He's practicing right now.
I'm a
Yeah,
night
no.
owl, so none of that. Like I stay up regularly till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But it's not healthy. But but I do it.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was just cool that they were going to even do one. Because it's just been so long since I've heard of anybody doing a midnight launch for anything. Like I don't think it's happened in 5 years. I can't remember the last time I heard of anybody doing a midnight release. I literally can't, because movies haven't been doing it for a long time. They started doing like the day before at 4 p.m. They started doing that 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, I remember them
And-
starting like at 10 or 11 and doing it earlier and earlier. It was
Yeah.
just like
If you can go at 4 p.m, it's just not the same, because only like true hardcore fans are going to stay up till midnight to see it.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So the hype, like the energy in the room is just different. It just hits different. Anyway, that's enough of that rant, I guess. What y'all been playing? Anything cool? Yugi's just been moving, I think.
No, you know what? In the midst of all the time me moving, for some reason, by the winds and whims of humanity, for some reason I installed Yakuza, dude. Just to see, right?
Which one?
Yeah,
Zero.
Okay. It's a good one.
It's like, yo, this game is pretty dope. Like, I didn't know it was that good. It's fun, man. It's fun. It's cheeky, like it's goofy. I think it takes itself so seriously, but it's not at the same time. That's what I love it. You know what I mean? And that's that, and it blends well with like the Japanese humor. And I was like, wow, I was thinking about it, like, man, I really want to play this game again. I don't know why. I hate when I did that. I was like, man, I'm in the middle of a move, but I couldn't like do anything because it was like pouring rain outside, right? And I got a truck, so I can't just like have all my stuff like get soaked. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna spend this day playing this game, and oh my goodness, like now I can't wait to jump back in. So yeah, I played that a little bit, and I'm like enamored. It was really cool.
Is it on PS5? You playing on PS5 or what?
It's a PS4 game, so it's last gen. It's really good.
Yeah, I just meant, are you playing it on your PS5?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Awesome, man.
Very nice.
I've been playing. I played yesterday a little bit, at least. Lord of the Rings: Battle for Middle Earth 2. What a throwback, eh? Just played a little bit, but it's not 100% compatible. Driver issues, so it was crashing.
I forget which Lord of the Rings game that is.
It's a strategy game. So
Okay.
the second in, there was two. The second one actually
yeah.
let you build anywhere. The first one you had to build in specific spots. But
Okay.
it's pretty
So
cool. You can design
Is
your
it like,
hero.
it's like a RTS, like a real-time strategy game? Yeah, okay.
RTS,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so it's got this mode where you play the whole map of Middle Earth, called War of the Ring. So you start in specific locations, like you start in Rivendell, and then you can actually choose where your army goes, send your armies across the map like a board game type style thing. But then when you actually have a battle, it goes into a map, and you play with like groups of units, and you can get the ring and actually get Galadriel as a character, and or Sauron if you're playing the evil side. If you got the ring, but they're like way expensive. So it's a super cool RTS game. Really enjoyed it.
I thought they turn off the servers on that?
Yeah, no, that's just local. I've just
Okay,
playing
gotcha.
local, yeah.
Like a lot of my friends, like they were hardcore about Battle for Middle Earth. Like they were,
Yeah.
Like, and one would just anytime he could use Tom Bombadil, like he would just wreck people with him.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool power. There's fate powers that you can cast on the map, so you can like Aragorn's dead army. You can throw onto a battle, or the horses that Arwen calls to destroy the ring wraiths. You can throw that onto a battle. So it's pretty
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, and you can play as Gandalf or Aragorn or whoever. You can have them as a hero at least in the battle. It's pretty cool.
It reminds me a lot of Empire at War. Like I played the mess out of Empire at War, Star Wars Empire at War.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a lot like that, but yeah, awesome game.
I feel like that there was a span of time where those types of games were like really, really popular, and that time is not now. Like I don't. Yeah. When's the last time we saw like a really big? I mean, the Civ games are kind of like that, but it's not. I don't think that's the same.
There's a what was it? There's some kind of sort of Command and Conquer remake being advertised. I can't remember the thing's name. Tempest Rising. I've only seen the ads. I haven't actually played it. But yeah, Command and Conquer style RTS.
I think we got a new Homeworld game in the last couple of years, maybe last year. Homeworld was one of like a RTS style game, but we used to get that. Like Halo Wars 2 yeah.
The like Total War series is one that I don't remember the last time they put one out, but I played Rome Total War 2 like it was going out of style back in the day. Like that game was so good.
Right.
You can actually zoom into the battles, if I remember, in the Total War series as well. Or at least your camera angle can come down like into the battle.
Well, and what's crazy is they use that game to like show battles like for like historical like things on the History Channel back in the day. They would show that. And I'm just like, this is the coolest thing. And then I finally got the game and I'm like, like I was just nerding out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's
Jason,
some
you're
kind
muted.
there's some kind of like he's still muted. That's fine. There's some kind of like simulator game where you can put like Darth Vader and an army of stormtroopers up against a million zombies. That's quite interesting to see as well.
I remember seeing like Kermit the Frog versus like 1,000 like Miss Piggies or something like that. And it's just like, what is it like? One Miss Piggy could kill a whole army of Kermit the Frogs. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Speaking of those camera angles, though, there's a game I've been playing just to check it out. I think it's in open beta now. It's called Star Vault. It's in VR, but it's a MOBA, but it's in VR. So you're on your boots on the ground.
That's really cool.
So it's interesting. It's actually it's funny because I picked a damage class, but she's a bow and arrow. So it's like you're just like my rotator cuff was like taking a beating. so it's different playing a MOBA and actually having to be like physical instead of just like watching.
I would love to do that.
I've downloaded that. I just haven't started it up yet. We should play sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like you will legitimately need to be an athlete to be a pro DPS character.
Right, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine putting like it on the VR treadmill or something. No, I'd die.
That's gonna be. You're not gonna buy items to upgrade your attack speed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, sure. That sounds really interesting. I'd love to play that.
It's pretty cool.
It looks good too.
Yeah, it's super sharp. They used a somewhat cartoonish art style to keep the quest graphics in check. So it looks really nice. Yeah.
But
what's it called? Sorry,
Star Vault.
Star Vault.
Yeah, it just the open beta just started like maybe a month ago, maybe not that long. It's pretty new.
I was in the closed beta, but I didn't have much time to play it. But like when you got a full team, it's actually pretty fun.
That's cool. So you've been playing that then? Anything else you've been playing?
Well, I started to play some flat games because I had to review a controller, kind of your realm, Bo. But
Yeah, I watched that.
South of Midnight. I went back and started playing Portal 2 just because it's fun, and I don't remember the puzzles. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll keep playing this, But yeah, and then Oblivion remastered. I jumped into Zach's stream, and then I had to start playing it again.
Zach has a good time on his stream. I'll tell you what.
I try,
Yeah.
man. I like to have chaos reign in my streams, especially if I like create a character. If like my character looks like a reject Joker, like he looks better than Jared Leto's Joker at least.
Doesn't take much, does it?
No, it doesn't take much. So I've been playing
man.
that, but the thing that I've been putting a ton of time into has been Doom: The Dark Ages, and man, oh man, that game is chef's kiss. Like it is so good. I'm not necessarily a Doom fan. Like I played a little bit of 2016. I'm like, this isn't really for me. And normally when I play a game, it's for the story. Like it's not for like gameplay is secondary for me.
Yeah.
When I come to gaming and everything, but it's like the story. But this one is like very story-like, but the gunplay and the pacing is so good on, you get upgrades, you get a new weapon. There's multiple modes. There's 2 different modes to most of the weapons so far. And I'm like 9 chapters in, and the chapters are just long enough to like get you invested and then get you out and get you into another experience, another biome, another weapon to be coming in there, new enemy types that they're adding in there, just different things that is just constantly keeping it doesn't feel overwhelming, because there's a lot of games where it's like they just throw too much stuff at you and you're just like, oh my god. That's how I felt with Avowed. I'm just like, there's just too much going on. But Doom, it's just enough in there to just keep you, I gotta go to the next thing. I can't wait to get the dragon. It's like, I got the dragon now. I'm flying on the dragon. And it's just like different little things, but they just do it so well, and it looks great. It plays great. And I'm playing on like the second difficulty up from like easy or whatever. And it's still challenging enough. Like I know that it gets way harder if I wanted it, but it's like I'm fine with just enjoying the game and having a good time and destroying some demons.
Let's be honest. When you get to be our age, you don't have time to play on the hardest difficulty anymore. No. You just don't. And so if you want to experience the game in its fullness, you got to knock it down a notch or two to get through it.
Yeah. With the backlog that I'm like tallying up, I'm ashamed to say it, but story difficulty is starting to look tempting. It's starting to look tempting.
Yep.
I play on story sometimes.
Yeah.
I might even switch over to story on The Last of Us 2 so I can just get through it, because I haven't finished it and everything. But Doom is amazing. I need to get back to Claire Obscura. I think that's the game that I'm enjoying the most because of the story. But Doom's gameplay, by far the best gameplay that I've had all year.
So I'm going to concur with that for the most part. I've only played the first 3 chapters, but what you're saying about the pacing and each level being just long enough and giving you just enough new stuff is totally on. I think I'm totally with you about that. And yeah, it's really good. It's really satisfying when you just when you do the parry at just the right time and knock back some of those green beams that are coming at you or whatever. The chainsaw shield is pretty fun to use. I just did the level today on with the big mech suit. The first time you get the big mech suit, and I thought that was really good. And it was, if it had been too much longer, I would have been like, okay, this is getting
Yes.
too long. But it was like just the right length. It was just the
Yep.
right length. Like they really nailed that. And
Well, even like the melee, it's like you start out melee and then it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, here's a gun. Because if
Right.
that second section would have just been melee, I
Yeah.
would have got bored. I would just, but they knew the pacing.
yeah, they really did. You're right. They give you, and then the gun goes away and you go back to the melee.
Yep.
Towards the end. And so, yeah. And like, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a cutscene at the end of that level. And I already knew what was going to happen like before it happened because it was Doom. And, but it was still so satisfying when you take down that last guy. It's just really fun. It's a really fun game. Yeah. And Clair Obscur has been what I've been playing the most. When I have a chance to play, that's mostly what I've been playing because it is just so good. It is such a phenomenal game. And man, I just can't, like, and save points are like there's so many of them, so you don't have to play for like 2 or 3 hours. Like you can play for 10 or 15 minutes and stop if you need to, because they really are that frequent, unless you get into a boss battle that's a longer one, and those can happen, but the places where you can stop and save are very frequent, and I appreciate that. And when you die, you literally just go back to the beginning of that battle. Like you don't have to like trudge through a bunch of level again. It's really nice in that way. It really respects your time in that way, I think. So I've been enjoying that one still as well.
Yeah. One last thing on Doom. I got the last weapon, and it's a grenade launcher, and it is so satisfying. I will just say it is so satisfying. Just good. And the mace feels so good to just bash somebody in the head, which like it's just got the right amount of weight, kind of like the Leviathan axe in God of War. Like it just feels right. So
how do you get a grenade launcher in a medieval time frame?
I don't know. It's weird.
It's not like a medieval time frame. That's it looks like it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
but it takes place a long time ago, but it's not set on this planet. Let's just say that.
Okay.
So it's very different. I will say this too. I'm going to throw this out there. Usually we talk about something faith related and on this podcast, and this isn't like a fully like thought out thing or anything, but in the very first level, you've got all these like the demons are attacking this human city on this other planet, and you've got all these humans they're like injured and they're like screaming, and you've got the other Marines or whatever, the soldiers, whatever they are, who are armed and ready to go, but never seem to be attacking anything. Did you notice that, Zach? They're just always standing around like by a door. And they never do anything.
Like, let me just take care of it.
Went to that Stormtrooper Academy.
They didn't even graduate from there. I mean, they're literally just standing around, and it was almost immersion breaking. That's probably my one critique of the game so far.
I would agree.
Is that no one else except for you is ever attacking anything. The demons are attacking, but the king shows up sometimes, doesn't he? Yeah. But I get to this one scene, and I'm just walking through, and there are these people like complaining about why are they attacking us, but in the same room is this. It's like this sanctuary, and there's this altar with this huge like figure of this demon up on it, and there's a guy like bowed down praying to it, and I'm like, why are you worshiping these things and then asking why are they like attacking us?
Mm-hmm.
And it just got me thinking like these are obviously evil beings. Why would you expect them to not betray you? And it really made me think about just how so many times we open ourselves up to negative things happening to us, and then we're like, well, why did that happen? But a lot of us get stuck in cycles of sin, and then we're like, and we keep expecting it to end differently, and it doesn't. and then we're like baffled by why we have this negative consequence to the thing that we ourselves have, the path we've chosen to go down, and it ends poorly, and we're like, why'd that happen? I don't know. That was just a random thought from that game.
I'm thinking of that verse in Proverbs. It's pretty graphic. as a dog returns to its vomit. So
Yeah.
fool. It's not always that straightforward, but I mean, that's the one thing. Unfortunately, God didn't say don't sin to spoil your fun. He said don't sin because it's not good for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I've always been baffled by I've never been a fan of too much alcohol of any kind. I don't like beer. I don't like whiskey. A lot of people do, and in moderation, it's fine. But I've never gotten this thing of being, going into some kind of bender and drinking until you're completely drunk and out of your mind. And the next morning, you're hugging a toilet. Jeez, guys, it looks so inviting. Why?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That looks fun. No, really. No, jeez. I remember one of my buddies once, a friend I had at least, said, we were talking about people who drink drugs, and he said, how do you know it's bad? So at first I was kind of stumped by that, but later I thought, geez, if you can't learn from other people's mistakes, why do you have to learn from your own mistake? It's better to learn from someone else's mistake.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, anyway, it's
there's plenty of data out there for you to survey and observe.
That's why it's illegal,
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. But I just thought, man, the moral of this story is don't worship things that are going to harm you.
I mean, you said that the Dark Ages it's a prequel.
Yeah.
That's the ironic part, is that if you think about it, the same thing happens in Doom 2016. They were messing around trying to harness the power of hell, and then it ended up coming to bite them in the butt. So
right.
It's funny how that seems to be that seems to be like a consistent theme in the Doom series, is like they're messing with things that they don't understand for their own benefit or whatever reason they may come up with, and it always ends up biting them in the butt.
That whole idea of we can control this type of thing,
right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work out that way.
I had a college professor who, like, the college I went to, I had to take two. They didn't have to be Bible classes. I had to take 2 religion classes to graduate. And so one of them I took was like the survey of the Old and New Testament. So I remember him writing this on the board as clear as day. I can see it in my mind right now. And this was literally decades ago, almost. And he wrote, sin always overreaches, period. Sin always overreaches. And the older I get and the more I contemplate on that, the more I realize that is 100% accurate. Sin is never satisfied. It will always overreach until it destroys you. Every time, 100% of the time. And you can't control it.
Now, there's this idea that it's freedom. You can do what you want, when you want, however long you want. But at the end of the day, you're actually just a captive to that specific thing. You become a captive to it. It becomes your master. It tells you how to live and when to live.
And that's what happens in the Dark Ages. Like, there's at least for part of it, that's one of the cutscenes is this guy who's basically like made this deal with the devil, so to speak, and so. But he ends up, the devil character ends up being, he dictates what's going on and what's going to happen. And anyway, again, don't want to spoil anything, but it's a Doom game, so you can kind of expect those types of things in there.
I think I've mentioned this before, but have any of you guys ever read Frank Peretti's books, Piercing the Darkness and This Present Darkness?
I have not.
I wish they would make a movie of that. It's like the angels and the demons are characters. So it's a Christian.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have read
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Dude, it is.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. It's.
I enjoyed it, at least. It was they've got this part where there's some kind of big convention of people, and they from the dark side. So but in the heavenlies there's a war going on against the angels and the demons, and so it's like for some reason at the convention the tarot card readers cards don't want to read and the crystal balls don't want to work, and the demons are all busy. It was quite funny, but yeah, it's a really, really good book. I definitely recommend that for anyone who wants to read that. Very good from a Christian perspective.
What'd you say it was called again?
This Present Darkness and Piercing the Darkness. First one is This Present Darkness from Frank Peretti, and really good. I mean, the way they portray salvation when somebody gets saved. It's like the angels do this whole celebration and dance and everything. Yeah, praise God. I love that. It was cool.
It's cool.
It's a great representation of like the spiritual warfare that goes on between like both sides and everything. Even like I remember there's one scene where like some woman's car doesn't want to start, and it's like a demon like messing with her car. And like,
they're holding the angel. He's just trying to help her, and he can't.
It's just like you don't think about those things, but it's just like that's actually it's just really good. I agree 1000% with Jocko on that.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed those two books. But yeah,
I've heard of those. I have not read them though.
It's interesting. He's a guy. It seems that he was bullied. The author, he was bullied when he was younger, and he sort of watched horror movies because Frankenstein never got bullied. He took it to them, and then he took that and he turned it into this whole. Well, he writes a lot of books with this kind of theme, but he's a Christian author.
Yeah.
He's got one called The Oath, where there's a dragon in this town, and the dragon represents sin now. So, and they actually fight the dragon at one stage. Dragon devours people and things like that. No, so quite a few books, but no, that was
cool.
The Piercing the Darkness series was the best for me.
Very cool. I wanted to jump back, Jason, to your comment about this controller that you reviewed. You put out a video today, didn't you?
Yeah. The Backbone Pro.
Yeah, I got one too. And I want to talk to you about this, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Real quick.
Mine's right here with a phone in it.
Very nice. Way to one up me here.
Here's my old one.
So I've reviewed that one, Zach, about a year and a half ago. It's one of my most watched videos. Is that review on that controller, and I like it's a good controller, but there's some practices that I didn't appreciate that are in place with the controller, and I was hoping that they would back off of some of those with this, but it seems to me that they've doubled down on some of that. But I don't necessarily want to dog on it because this is a great controller too. I've found this to be very comfortable. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. I think the thickness is like key. Like
it's just about right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just about right. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're holding a controller if you close your eyes, but don't do that while you're gaming, obviously. But yeah.
It does feel like a controller, and I handed it to my wife, and I handed her a different mobile gaming controller. I said, "Which one of these do you think feels better? Like, which one's more comfortable?" And she said this one. Like, her hands are a little smaller than mine, but she preferred this one, and I think this is very comfortable. I think the buttons are really nice. I don't know. Can you give me like the general? Everybody go watch Jason's video, but can you give me the summary of what you think of
I think there's a couple of key takeaways with the Pro versus like all the other backbones up until now. It's the fact that they leaned into it feeling more like a controller, the handles, but then also Bluetooth. And I said this in my review. Bluetooth is really the standout feature. So this kind of takes it out of the just peripheral type of placement to being a standalone controller overall. It's weird because you have a big gaping hole in the middle of it, but technically you don't need to hook it up to a phone, which really kind of changes what it is overall.
But how's the input latency? Have you experienced any kind of latency?
Not really. I mean, it was pretty solid. Like I was reviewing it for the Quest, and it was really, really snappy.
Okay.
And I used it with Steam Link, so that's Steam Link to the through the phone to your local PC. Now I do have my network is pretty beefy because I do wireless VR, but I mean it was 1-to-1. There's a part of my video where I can show I show like the screen of the PC and the screen on the phone are actually moving at the same time playing Oblivion. Like there's no
that's good.
Like, visible.
That's not the Bluetooth though. That's the
service. That is the service. That is true.
It's the same thing with me. Like I've played some Game Pass, over the cloud. I've played some PlayStation Remote Play. I've played some emulation. I've played some Apple Arcade. I've played I don't know. Oh, Fortnite has returned to iPhone, iOS, which I guess we could talk about if anybody cares about that. But I think just in the last week, Fortnite has come back to iOS in the States. It's been gone for 3 years, something like that. But all of them performed excellently, especially in my house, like where my consoles are, where my computer is, right over my network. They do really, really well, and it's a very comfortable experience. The Bluetooth part is what concerns me. Not concerns me. Like I think it works fine, but to continue to use it like the way that they advertise, it comes with a subscription fee.
Yeah.
And that is what bothers me.
Yeah, it's very weird. I think in a world of subscription fatigue, it's pretty gutsy for them to come out with Backbone Plus. I didn't even mention it in my video because it's like no, I know no one wants to hear that, but it's strange because it's almost like the same problem that we have with like streaming services, like with Netflix and the other 40 streaming services. Right. Their proprietary streaming service lets you like chat live with friends and as like things that we're like already doing. I'm wondering if they saw it as like an opportunity to do this on mobile. So like, I don't know, maybe because you have like, PlayStation and Xbox Live and, I guess PC's always had free online interaction, right? You can just hop on Discord or whatever you might be connected with. But they wanted to create a service that kind of felt like Xbox Live or something, right? Giving you like these, but to your point, Bo, it does kind of seem like they're just kind of pay gating a lot of normal things, which
they're pay gating the Bluetooth, which is the number one selling feature of the controller.
Right.
And it really bothers me. And this is not a cheap controller to begin with.
No.
It's $170.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And it's a great controller. Feels really good. The buttons feel great, and it's very comfortable in the hand. But if you have to pay an annual subscription to be able to do the main thing that makes it a pro controller, after you've already spent that money, that to me, like it's not. They'll probably never send me anything ever again because I'm saying this right now. But it's gonna be all in my review anyway, so whatever.
So
there's good things and there's bad things, but the main point is that you can connect this to anything. They're like, you can have it connected to your TV and stream stuff from your TV. You can have it connected to your Xbox. You can have it connected to your Quest. You can have it connected to your phone, all the stuff, and you can switch between them like instantaneously. So you can move from gaming on your TV to your Quest to your phone and back and forth to whatever, bounce around. And this is like speaking of Lord of the Rings, this is one controller to rule them all. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. One controller to rule them all. But you got to pay us a subscription fee every year to use that feature. And hard locking hardware features behind a subscription feels really wrong to me. And I do not like that practice. I do not want to see anyone else pick up that practice. It's I mean, imagine if you bought a new car and they said, hey, by the way, if you want to use your automatic transmission, you've got to pay us an extra $1,000 a year.
right.
Mitsubishi
That's what they're doing.
Mercedes was trying to do that, or BMW, like the auto start and like a few other features on that.
Really?
So yeah. But like for me, it's like, okay, it is $170, and I agree with you. Like doing subscription services, it's a toxin, if you will. Like it is the way of like everything right now. But the reason why is because if you can get somebody on a subscription fee, they're going to forget that they're on the subscription fee, so they get charged again and again and again. And they make it so hard to cancel it, which there are some laws that the FTC has put in where if you sign up for something, it has to be as easy to get out of it as it is to get into it. But it's like, oh, well, how much is the service per year?
It's not clearly stated on their website.
Yeah, I'm looking at their website. That's what I was looking for.
$20 or something. It's weird.
How much?
I think it was like 20. I
20.
can't remember. Oh,
I think it's 40, but I've never gotten a clear answer from anyone about how much it is.
So it's just very interesting. And like, if you're just playing like your Xbox with this controller without a screen in it, like what does the weight feel like? Like, does it feel?
It's
really
very
light.
light. It's very lightweight. Yeah.
Light. Yeah.
Because like this one, like if I'm playing something, it doesn't feel like I'm really like holding a controller. Like if I was playing on an Xbox,
it's heavier than that. It's heavier than the Backbone 1, but it is not as heavy as an Xbox controller.
See, I feel like
it's
that
somewhere
would be
in between.
Off-putting to me.
Well, because it does fit in your palms so well, because it's thicker, I think it feels fine. Like I could play Xbox with this. It is a little weird because your hands are a little further apart, and there's nothing in the middle, so it's lighter for sure. But that's not anywhere on my list of concerns in terms of using this as like a daily driver controller. If I were to do that, I just think I've reviewed, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 12 mobile controllers on the channel over the last couple of years. No other mobile controller manufacturer that I've seen has a subscription, and Backbone is the #1 best-selling mobile controller brand on the market by far. They have more market share than anyone by far. And they should, and their controllers cost more than their competitors. And I don't necessarily think the Backbone 1, I don't think is like the best one out there, but I think it's a little overpriced if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And I think this one's overpriced as well. Plus they want you to pay a subscription fee. And that bothers me because if everybody else can sell it at a cheaper point with no subscription fee, what are you doing? It's just because they think they can get away with it because they have a bigger name. And again, they may never send me anything else again. But and I like the controller. Like that's what's so frustrating. It's like I could give this a huge positive review because it's a great controller. But it's just so frustrating to me.
Does it come with that cool case?
It does not
No.
come with a case.
Why is it in the video?
$30.
No.
The case
$30,
is
yeah.
$30. Don't even get me started on the case, because the case is frustrating to me too for several reasons. It is a hard shell case though, and it will keep the controller protected, and that is positive. That's a positive thing. But
Did you have to pay a subscription for the case as well?
No, only to unzip it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just 99 cents to unzip it, you know. But $5 to zip it back up.
So, Bo, I might not have noticed this when I was testing it, because I'm wondering if I can't remember.
so
if
they
I
give
have
you a
subscription.
free trial period of the Bluetooth of the Backbone Plus. You get a free trial period. With the Backbone 1, it was a whole year, and with the Backbone Plus, they don't say, or they didn't tell me. They just said it's a free trial period, and then there was no like time on it. So to me, that sounds like it's probably less than a year. Like they've cut it back, but I don't know that for sure. So I can't say for sure. But
So, like, I don't even know how they.
once
I work in
that's
software.
over,
How would they block just the basic?
through the app. You have to do the Bluetooth setup through the app, right?
I don't know that you have to.
Okay, so full disclosure, I haven't downloaded the app yet. I've been testing everything without the app to see how much you can do without the app, but I have not tried to connect anything to the
So,
Bluetooth.
yeah,
yet.
give it a
So
shot. When
I
get
think
it.
you can connect one thing to Bluetooth.
maybe because I didn't notice.
Without
I
the
didn't
app.
notice it with that, and I was only using it with the Quest. So, yeah,
But
maybe
if you want to connect multiple things, which is what they keep touting you can do, I think you have to do it through the app, and you have to log into the app to use it, and then they know if you have the subscription fee or not.
See, my biggest thing is, like, if I'm going to play my PS5, I want my PlayStation 5 controller.
Sure.
If I'm going to play my Xbox, I want my Xbox controller. Same thing with my Switch. I want my Pro controller. Like, I understand the point of it, but the whole reason I have the Backbone is if I'm playing like remote play,
Right.
you know, and now I have my Steam Deck, and it's like I don't even need that other than PlayStation, because setting that up on the Steam Deck is ridiculously stupid from PlayStation. But that's the whole reason I even got it, was so I could play Diablo 4 on my phone. You know, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know how many people are like, oh, let me go buy $170 controller.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
price point is a pain.
See-
Because I like how small it is. Like, I love the fact that maybe I could just throw it into a Quest case with the rest of the stuff, and then I also have the option to have a controller. It's great, but
40-hour battery life, by the way.
yeah, 40-hour battery
That's
life.
decent.
Yeah. So it's a lot of good there, but then the price makes it a little bit of a pain, because if you look at like if you're rocking a Quest 3S, the Backbone controllers is scraping up
Over
there
half
the
of
same
it.
price,
Over half the cost.
It's like half the cost of
And-
your headset. You know, it's a little.
It's missing some things that I think a lot of, like, when you think of pro controllers have, like Hall effect sticks. This doesn't have Hall effect sticks.
Mhm.
It also doesn't have any like a lot of controllers have RGB on it now, which I could take or leave. I don't really care about that, but this doesn't have that. Like there's certain things that I just feel like are omitted, especially the Hall effect sticks, because they want this to be the last controller you buy. And I don't know how you do that if you know this is going to get stick drift. I don't know how you expect. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, hopefully not soon, because I think the sticks are quality, but eventually these older sticks get drift. It doesn't matter who you buy them from. It just happens.
And it
I don't
doesn't
know.
have haptics as well.
It doesn't have haptics either, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like some of the cheaper controllers that I have reviewed, almost all of them have haptics. And this doesn't. So, like, there's just some really weird choices here that it's like, okay, we're trying to keep the cost down, but then they didn't. Like, it skyrocketed.
Right.
So it's going to be a really tricky review for me, because I feel like I can't not say all of these things that I'm frustrated about. I have to. I'm going to say them as nicely as I can because I don't want to beat them down. I want the company to be successful. I'm going to make that very clear. I want them to be successful. I want to see them make wise decisions that are going to make them successful. And I don't think they've made the wisest decisions in some regards with this release. That's what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. So no hate to them at all by any means. They built a quality controller, but
they're just gonna have a hard.
They're overreaching, I think.
Yeah, I have a hard time selling it for sure.
Yeah,
it can plug directly into the phone, though. I see it's got a port there. Eh?
As long as you have a USB-C phone, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's good for that use case. It's still $170.
I'll say this too about that port. It's static. So a lot of the mobile controllers I reviewed, this port is on a spring, so it moves up and down. So it will bend with your phone a little bit when you're taking your phone in and out. And this doesn't. So you have to make sure that you pull that side out first, straight out. Otherwise, you could damage this port or the port on your phone because it's very rigid. So that's another pro. I would expect that as a pro feature. I would expect to see that this would be on a spring, and it's not. Yeah. I didn't mean to talk about this for this long. I just
well, you're the controller guy, Bo. So I really wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
Also,
he's being more politically correct than I would be. I mean, yeah, that's the most ridiculous feature I've ever heard in my life. Pay for Bluetooth? Are you out of your mind?
Not until your free trial's over, though. You can. I'm gonna test it out some more. I'm gonna see if you can connect at least one thing without doing it through the Backbone app. And I'm gonna be fair, no matter what in my review. Also, they put out this it looks like a really expensively shot ad for this controller, but it's completely nonsensical. I don't understand what's going on in this ad with this dude. He's in an office.
Yeah, the first comment I
saw. Why is there a wind blowing through this office building? Blowing the sheet down the hallway. Anyway, hey Zach. Glad to have you back.
Yeah,
to sell that as an extra feature is it doesn't make any sense at all. I think that's. I don't know. I guess there's going to be another company that's going to capitalize on that and probably do the same kind of design and just not make you pay money for it. So,
right,
for sure, somebody's going to figure that out, and they're going to figure it out quick. I think.
Yeah, but exactly. And it's going to be. I would use that to jumpstart that company.
But here's something else that I could see happening is right now there's a big discussion going on about how Nintendo has jumped to $80 games, and they've broken that just for the base game. It's going to be $80 for a lot of these games. And it's okay, now everybody else has permission to make their games $80. And that's the other way I can see this swinging is, Backbone, they charging you an arm and leg for their controller, and now they've got a subscription on top of it. So that gives us permission to have a subscription on top of ours too. And I that's what I do not want to see.
I just yes, they are the biggest in that space and everything, but it's still a very niche piece of hardware. It's not something that I've got to have this. It's not
right.
Controller for the consoles or whatever. And those are half the price of the Backbone and everything. Even because this is the Backbone 2, it's $99 still.
Right.
And it's that's kind of crazy for a controller.
It is. And I don't have another one sitting right here. Well, maybe I do. This. Yeah. It's not out of the box, but I have this one, which is very similar. Has big grips on it. It has Hall effect sticks. It has rumble features. It has back programmable buttons. This control, it's Bluetooth. This controller is $60 full price. $60. Most of the features of this, no subscription. And honestly, it probably doesn't feel as good. But it's pretty close. I'd say it's 90% of the way there for a third of the price. So when you start thinking about it that way, it's like, I don't like how it's hard to recommend. It's hard to recommend something like this.
Yeah. Just because it's more expensive doesn't mean that it's better, you know?
Right.
And it's like the older you get, the more you realize that it's like, just because you pay more for something doesn't automatically mean that it's, you know, the value is more because the price is more.
Right. Exactly. Sometimes you are paying for the name. And I think, again, Backbone has the biggest name in this niche. And you're right, it is still a niche product in a lot of ways. But more and more companies are making these controllers, and there must be a reason for that. Like 8-Bit Do 8-Bit Dough just put out their first mobile gaming controller this spring. I reviewed it maybe 3 months ago. And they've never done that before. And they're a pretty big controller brand.
Yeah.
So there must be money to be had. You know, the Razer Kishi, Nacon makes some. Turtle Beach makes some.
How about Mad Cats?
Is Mad Cat still around?
Yes, it is. They came back.
Yeah.
They came back.
Yeah.
Budget vision.
Well, and I think, you know, like you look at the markets that they're potentially selling to, like India has a huge mobile gaming market. That's where most people play over there because everybody has a phone. And then Japan is a huge mobile market as well. So that, I don't know, just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking.
Michael is looking for a controller for his Android phone. Would like to stay away from subscriptions. So, Michael, I would recommend you look at, again, I don't have it sitting right here because my desk space is small, so I have to keep putting things away. But I have a whole playlist of mobile controller reviews. You can look through those. I would recommend looking at the Easy SMX M15. It is a $60 controller. It works with Android. It works. You plug it in USB-C, but you can also connect it with Bluetooth to your Android phone. I would recommend that one. It's a very comfortable controller and budget priced. Hall effect sticks should last you a pretty long time. That's the one that comes to my mind immediately. The GameSir Galileo G8 is also an excellent controller with big grips on it. That's very comfortable, and that does not have a subscription either. Works with Android as well. So most of them will work with Android and iOS, and if they don't, they will explicitly state that. Like the 8-Bit Do controller that I did the review on, it is only for Android, and it is Bluetooth only. It does not have a USB-C port, and it's a pretty decent controller. But I think the other two would edge it out. They edged out the 8-Bit Do, in my opinion, that I just mentioned. So I check those out if I were you. I was not expecting talking about these at all tonight, except for I just wanted to ask Jason what his opinion was on this because I saw his video. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, check those out. I think they'll be helpful to you in deciding about that. And thanks for being here. What else should we talk about, man? I had this whole list of stuff, but we didn't get to any of it. Grand Theft Auto 6 was delayed.
Doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me either, but we're gonna have to wait a whole nother year for that one. The Switch 2 is launching. in less than 2 weeks, which is like kind of crazy to me, but we talked about that a lot last time, so we can move on. Ubisoft has delayed a bunch of franchises until 2026, 2027. You know about this, Zach? They're delaying next titles in several franchises: Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, The Division, Ghost Recon. They're delaying all of them, and I wonder. They're also supposedly working on a Splinter Cell remake, which I would be interested in.
I'd
really
like to see
would
the
like to see
original.
I'm a
Splinter
huge
Cell.
Splinter Cell fan. Yeah.
I'd like to see the original remade. Chaos Theory is probably my favorite out of all of them. Double Agent is right under that. But I think the big reason why they're pushing all of this is because they can't afford to put out bad games at this point in time because they've lost so much goodwill, especially after Outlaws just flopped. Shadows has done well, and I think they're just like, okay, let's.
Has it done? How well do you think it's done? Really,
it's sold pretty well, and the sentiment has been fairly good around it. It's reviewed well, but I think a lot of it is there's a lot of internal turmoil right now that they. Yep.
Do you think it sold well enough though? Like, I don't think it really met what they were hoping it would meet. Like, I don't think it didn't sell enough to turn the ship around, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, by no means.
It sold okay. I would just like it did okay. Like,
okay, in the first weeks, it sold around 2 million with over 3 million players, which I'm curious where you get 3 million players out of 2 million. But
they have a subscription service, right?
Yes, they do.
It must be where that
Ubisoft Plus. But I think a lot of it is they want to make sure whatever they put out next is going to be viable in the market. And they're trying to, like, they're kind of playing the game of, like, when they put out Rainbow Six Siege, it wasn't great, but then they kept putting out more content. They kept supporting the game. And that game has lasted a really long time. Same thing with For Honor. They've done the same thing. And they're doing that for Skull and Bones. So they're trying to turn things that they've put out into something that can last a little bit longer until they can get more games out there, because people are just kind of like, they're writing Ubisoft off at this point, and the Guillemot family needs to get out of Ubisoft. They need to sell their shares. They need to not be managing the company at this point in time, because they've done such a poor job not only managing the portfolio, but how they've handled management and some of the human resource problems. That's how I will phrase it here. And they just, Yves needs to go away. He needs to retire.
Yeah. It's I think that's right. I think that all these delays are about kind of restructuring and making sure that their next move is the right one. And I think you're right. He probably needs to retire. Well, and they need to figure out their budgets. They need to figure out, how do we do this? I think you've got to reduce your team sizes and stop having so many cooks in the kitchen. And just have a director that says, this is what we're doing. We're not taking everybody's opinion, and this is the direction we're taking this in, and get it done. And
they went so hard in the paint on Assassin's Creed that we've already seen that not work in the past, where they literally had to take 2 years off. And then Origins came out, and Origins is a great game. I loved Origins. I think it's one of the stronger games. That's when they introduced the RPG elements into the franchise. But now you're getting like, oh, AC this, AC that, this project, Hex, this and that. And then it's like, well, where is Rayman? Where is Splinter Cell? Where is, all of these different franchises that Ubisoft has brought to the table year after year and people have loved, and it's like, oh, we're still making Beyond Good and Evil 2. And it's like, why are you wasting your time? Yeah. Why are you wasting your time on these things when people really want a Splinter Cell. Like they are working on a new Rayman game, which I'm excited for, but it's like, how many Rabbids games can we play? You know,
I don't know. And man, yeah. See, this is why I ask you about it, because you got all these good points. Yeah. So there's definitely some stuff that they need to figure out. And you're right. Outlaws didn't do well, and I saw it somewhere super cheap.
maybe
A lot of
GameStop.
games. It might have been GameStop yesterday. It was over half off, I think, wherever it was. And that game's still, like, it's not even a year old. Of course,
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of games not a year old go on deep discounts, like Kill the Justice League. It was like 90% off. Actually, I got it for free one day somewhere online. But it was 90% off. I know a couple times on sale.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like Outlaws, they're still like, they're putting out its DLC Pirate's Fortune and everything, and it's like they're trying to support it, but it's like, the Star Wars fandom is not forgiving.
No.
They're probably the most toxic and unforgiving people.
And they're at a low right now. Like,
we need a win. We need a win.
and I've heard good things about Andor season 2. I haven't watched any of it yet.
I really
good.
want to watch that. Yeah.
I've heard that it's a win, but they've already hurt the goodwill of the people so many times that it's, I don't know. I think people we need a little bit of a break, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen Skeleton Crew, Zach?
I have not yet. Have you?
I've watched a few episodes. It's
Any good?
interesting. Yeah. Kids taking over a spaceship and flying around the galaxy.
Okay.
It's interesting. Yeah.
I have to
Yeah,
check
it's
that one out. Isn't Jude Law in that one?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in that one, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a sort of quasi Jedi. I haven't quite figured him out yet, his character.
I know he once was the head of a wizarding school. You know,
he gets around.
he gets around.
Yeah.
He also assisted the world's greatest detective at one point. I've heard.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, no. He's got some skills.
he does. And I think he trained a cosmic warrior at a different point. I think her name was Captain Marvel, something like that.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Anyway, I have no idea, Michael, if you're still watching or if links work in the chat, but I tried to drop one in there for you. Let's see. So the other thing one of the other things I kind of want to talk about was the this whole mess around Marathon. Y'all seen this stuff? So Marathon's like a classic franchise, right? From Bungie. Their first game, I think, one of their first big game anyway. Marathon. They said a year or two ago, hey, we're going to make a new game in the Marathon series. Of course, Bungie is owned by PlayStation at this point. Destiny has kind of turned into a mess. I feel like in recent years, they have begun literally deleting sections of the game. Some of the first sections of the game, they're totally gone now. You can't play them because the file size was getting too big and they had to scale it back. So there's certain parts of that game you can't even play anymore, which is crazy to me. Because people spent money and time and stuff in those sections, and now that they're just gone, which is one of the drawbacks to this digital age. But now that they've been working towards Marathon, and then so that should have been it really didn't need to be an online game or a live service game of any kind. It's like a game with lore and it could have just been like a boomer shooter kind of thing, and like Doom. But instead they decided to make it a live service game. It seems to be completely detached from the original lore of the original Marathon. And it came out last week or the week before, Zach, that they stole a bunch of the art in the game from an artist, like just kind of like off X.
Yeah, it's 1-to-1. Like
1-to-1, yeah.
There's literally a joke that she has in one of the pieces of art, and it's on a whiteboard in the game. And she's like, I was making a reference to something. This is not even art. This is just like a reference to like a show that I watch. And it's on a whiteboard in the game.
And isn't like her signature in there too somewhere? Yep. Like there's just all this stuff that she has created, and they just ripped it. And it's like in the game, like everywhere.
Marketing materials too.
And the marketing stuff. Yeah. Like that's how she saw it first, right? I think was just from the trailer or something. I can't remember, but it's crazy to me that you'd have a big team from a huge company working on all this stuff, and this somehow gets through all the censors and like nobody notices. And the guy comes on and apologizes in this apology video because they had a live stream scheduled. And was he the manager?
AMA. Well, they had an AMA scheduled, and like they were going to play the game and all of that. And it was super awkward. And just to point this out, this was not by mistake. A lot of the art people on the game literally follow her on X before any of this happened.
Right.
So it's like
they knew.
And they tried to blame it on someone that is no longer working there. Like, oh, one of our former artists put it in the game and all of this. And it's like, I know legal speak when I see it. And that's legal speak of, oh, we messed around and we're finding out right now.
He was the scapegoat. Yeah, they use this one guy as the scapegoat that's no longer with the company. Okay.
Yeah.
And the apology was weird because in the one hand he said this one guy stole all this art that's in the game, and none of us noticed that it basically, I'm paraphrasing, that none of us noticed that it was stolen art. But then he's like, but we have a team of 30 great artists on our in our departments. Like, you have 30 artists, but you stole all this. What are your 30 artists doing? Like, what have they been doing this whole time?
And it's not the first time Bungie has done this either. That's the thing.
It's crazy.
They've stole a design for a hand cannon from Destiny 2 that was for like a Nerf gun, and then they made the Nerf gun look exactly like that other dude's thing. They've stole like a boss design. It's just been one thing after another, and there's several lawsuits going on right now from other artists saying, hey, they're stealing our stuff. And back to your point where they're taking things offline from Destiny 2, judges are like, well, it's not active anymore, so we can't rule on this because it's not part of the game anymore.
Well, that's not
that
cool.
Is so slimy.
That is slimy. That stinks like dead fish.
Yep.
Because they can be like, oh, lawsuit, oopsie, now it's deleted. That's crazy.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right. They did you hear that they supposedly have pulled all of their marketing for the game at this point too? They're no longer marketing it. So
yeah, I read that PlayStation is not has any marketing plan for the game for the rest of 2025, so it's definitely getting pushed.
Well, they canceled some contracts with it, right? I think they had contracts in place for the marketing, and they've canceled them. Like, it's okay. So to me, this it's starting to look a lot like Concord, another Concord situation to me. And so I'm kind of wondering, you think it's worse because of the theft?
Well, at least, it's like at least Concord got to come out without it looked a lot like, Guardians of the Galaxy and Valorant and all of this kind of stuff, but it was at least stealing like an artist, not stealing from an artist, know? But it's like, even during the alpha, like they brought all of these people that are huge Bungie fans and, at first person shooters, and they're like, yeah, the gameplay's not that good.
Right.
And it's like, who's going to pay $40 for a game that sucks? This isn't Helldivers, because nobody expected Helldivers to be good. You know, unless you know what I mean. If you knew, you knew. But it's like, oh, this is Bungie. The whole reason PlayStation even bought Bungie is because they are known for making live service games because of Destiny. And now it's like, oh, they're in all of this, and PlayStation even started managing them more after the whole layoff situation that happened like 6 months ago. And I think we're only going to be getting more PlayStation oversight with them. So
yeah. Turns out it looks like it's turned out to be a pretty bad purchase for them, unfortunately.
Yeah,
because it is a big mess. I mean, and Destiny is at a point where I don't even feel like it's not succeeding anymore. You know, like it's on the decline, like I feel like pretty significantly. And it's really like this is the studio that brought us Halo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it feels like it's like the end almost.
Yeah,
of Bungie, which is really sad. And I know it's not. They could turn it around, but
and they let go of all of like the old guard that made Bungie. Like
right.
All of these people are gone. There might be a few left, but PlayStation bought Bungie for $3.6 billion. Billion with a B. And it's like, how is this like? They're not even making their money back up. It's a PR nightmare.
It is. And it's really sad for Xbox and for PlayStation. It's I wish Bungie had just kept making Halo.
Yeah.
You know, just that original team just kept making Halo. And I understand sometimes you need a change of pace or whatever, but they left Xbox. They were like, yay, we got out of Xbox so we can show everybody what we can do. And then they just made a Halo clone in Destiny. I mean, like in a lot of ways, like it's very similar in a lot of ways to Halo, except it was live service I don't know.
Went and worked for Activision, and then it was like, that's a bad relationship. Got out of that, and then got bought by PlayStation like a year or two later.
Yeah, I know. So
it's the first time I've heard of the game. Is it popular at all?
Oh yeah, very well. Back in the day, it used to be popular.
Okay. Which game, Yako?
Marathon. I'm talking about Marathon.
Oh yeah,
sorry.
The original Marathon. The original Marathon is like a cult classic. Like it has like a, you know, like I don't actually know anyone who's ever played it, but I know that I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah. Marathon was like, I want to say it's like an RTS.
No, I think it's a shooter.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at is a shooter.
Yeah, it's a shooter. Yeah, it's
I'm thinking of.
It's almost like a prequel. It's almost like a prequel to Halo Combat Evolved. It was a game they made before Halo Combat Evolved, and Halo takes a lot of inspiration from Marathon, but evolved it into its own.
I'm thinking of Myth.
Lore. Oh yeah.
Myth, Fallen Lords. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's a very different game. Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
But with this game, this new Marathon, it's like they're completely ignoring. They're just taking the name and building something totally different.
Yeah.
And it's not working. So, and there's just a lot of stuff like that. I feel like that's going around and again, the thumbnail says we're trying to be optimistic, and I am trying to be optimistic because I think there are some good things to look forward to. Like, for example, I'm hearing rumors now in the last couple of days that for Zelda's 40th anniversary, we might be getting an Ocarina of Time remake. Like total remake for Switch 2, which would be awesome, I think.
Yeah, that's huge.
Didn't somebody do a bit of playable gameplay in Unreal? Engine?
Yeah, several people have done that over the years, and it always looks phenomenal. But it's always just a little snippet.
It's just
a full remake, and the rumor is that Nintendo is not farming it out to another studio; that they're doing it in house, which means it's going to be top notch. That they're going to keep it under a good watchful eye, make sure that it's good. And I hope that that rumor pans out to be
Yeah.
to be
Shout
true.
out to Nintendo because, respectfully, like they've kept up their quality for all these generations, And you see it happen with some companies where like something just drops off and you're just like, this is not the same company anymore. Like, I feel like,
Well, like Bungie, I think Bungie's an example of that. Yeah.
Right.
Wii U was shaky.
Sure, it was. It was. They made some mistakes.
But like, I guess I'm talking about like the games more specifically, because even the games were good. Like, I think another one that I can think of is like low key Blizzard, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like at one point Blizzard was like unstoppable, and now with like the way that Overwatch went and how they just straight up lied about the co-op for Overwatch. That was like, I think that really was like a smoking gun for a lot of people, at least.
Do you mean the campaign?
Yeah. It's supposed to be a co-op campaign, kind of story mode driven kind of thing.
Right.
That people were looking forward to. Then they didn't drop it, and everyone was just like, everyone was just like, okay, I guess I'm not getting Overwatch 2. And,
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I loved Overwatch back in the day.
Dude, they had so much to build off of. So much potential, man. So much potential. That's the worst part. It's the potential that was wasted,
It's like Gohan. So much potential. So much potential.
Literally.
I don't know what happened to him.
You anime nerds.
At one point, he looked like a super boss to me. Last time I watched, at least.
Well, they're trying to bring him back, but it's like he'll be, boss sauce, and then he's like, I gotta go read a book, and it's like, Gohan, stop reading the book. Go protect the earth.
Oh man!
Listen to Audible.
I could never get through a lot of Dragon Ball Z because the one fight that took like 3 episodes. Spent 5 minutes of an episode him charging up.
Oh yeah.
It's like, wow, Gohan, you're like the strongest in all of the show. You're stronger than your dad. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna go to school. Why is he not wrong though?
Yeah, it's like my dad is an absolute idiot. I'm gonna go to school.
I don't want to be like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
All of my Dragon Ball Z knowledge comes from Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Fighters. I don't know how you're supposed to say it.
Fighter Z.
Yeah, that campaign in that game. That's all I know about Dragon Ball. But it was a fun game. I enjoyed it very much.
If you want closer to the actual story, play Kakarot. It's a good game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and they're adding Daima into the show or into the game.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
very nice.
I'm gonna close with one last thing here, just because we got Yako with us. He mentioned it right before we went live, and I said put a pin in that, and then I forgot about it until right now. Or a few minutes ago. I mean, here it is. We have this announcement today from Ambernick. I'm always looking at these retro handhelds, and that's what Yako does a lot of too. And they announced this 35XX Pro today, another Pro, something else Pro. Everybody wants to put the word Pro on there at the end of everything now. But they released no specs for it. Yako, what's your take on this? You got any?
So from what I've just had a quick look at it, but from what I've seen, the only difference is going to be possibly that it only has 2 gigs of RAM. It sounds like it's going to have the same chipset, and it has dual analog sticks over the normal RG35XX. Right. So that's the only real difference. So it's like, I don't know if that's worth it.
For sure, we got the dual sticks there. That's obvious, like cosmetic difference here on the hardware. but we don't know about the specs on the inside yet. It could be a different chip than the last gen XX
Hopefully.
line. And I hope that it is, because with that word Pro on there, you're gonna expect more.
You would at least want a different chipset, yeah.
But they just released a clamshell. Do I have it in here somewhere? They just released a clamshell here. No, that's the Pal Kitty. Maybe I didn't post anything. Oh, there it is. The 34XXSP, which is another XX line device, but it has the same chipset as last year's models, but they gave it 1 more gig of RAM. Why? I don't know. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that is.
Purpose of that is.
I think maybe it might slightly help performance of some games, potentially, but
I think it's going to make very little difference. But
I do too.
And then they added the analog sticks in. That's like the only difference from the 35XXXP is a little bit more RAM to analog sticks. So that's what got me thinking that they're going to do the same with the 35XX Pro.
I'm afraid you're right. Which is sad. The Pal Kitty, I think looks pretty fun though.
Yeah, the V90S. Yeah.
Where was that other one? Here, almost there. There we go. What do you think about that green color? Anybody? That transparent green. Anybody like that?
It's kind of cool.
That's okay.
Gives me like old school vibes. Yeah.
If it was lime green, I'd be all there, because my original Game Boy was a lime green.
The lime green. Mm-hmm.
I literally have it back there somewhere. I'll get it.
So
no, I agree. If it was a little bit brighter, I'd like it, but not that one. No, I'd rather go with the white.
So there was a company that just released a lime green one, Zach. I'll see if I can find a picture of it for you, just so you can see it.
Good.
Yeah. This is my original one. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have an original one sitting here too from a friend of mine. It's not green. It's the purple one. But
the green one. I've got
it's broken.
I've got 1 or 2 clear purple ones. I don't know how I got them, but somehow I got them. I
borrowed it from a friend, and
apparently so. I don't know, but it's not theirs anymore.
Man, I threw away my Famicom and my Genesis. So I'm gonna kick myself for that. Should have kept those. That would have been nice to have on a shelf somewhere now.
Yeah.
Well,
still got my Vita, my PSP as well.
Here it is. I knew I had it somewhere on my feed. Check this out, Zach. Look at that.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
The Pocket Classic. I'm working on a review on a comparison video for that now.
Yeah. It comes in a few colors.
Okay. Yeah. Atomic purple. Yeah, that lime green. That's what
that lime green is pretty nice.
Yeah, that's $120, eh? I think it's $120.
I actually like all the colors on this one, and I really like the way this one looks with the 6-button layout. I like this Pokemon yellow one as well. It's pretty sick.
A bit out there for me. It looks a little bit strange. I don't know, like the GameCube colors as well that they put on these. A lot of people like it. I'm not really my style. I never had a GameCube, so.
I was always a PlayStation kid, so other than handhelds.
Well, I never had a handheld growing up. Never had one. My cousin had them, and I got to play his sometimes, but I never got one.
Me neither.
Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts there, Yako, on that.
Hundreds, man.
I am interested to see if something actually pro, there's something actually pro about it, or if it's just they just needed to put another word on there to differentiate it.
On the 40XX, I was thinking when I saw the gameplay trailers, I thought maybe a different chipset.
On the 40XX?
Yeah, on the 40XX, they had some pretty good
40XX.
N64 gameplay on the chopper game. I can't remember what it was called, but
40XX is nice. Anyway, yeah. Well, Yako, why don't we go around and do some outros? Where can we find you, man?
I'm on YouTube, the Tech Update. Got a presence on TikTok and X. Not very active there at this moment. Just trying to juggle everything with a new little girl in the picture, but working on a comparison with the Retro Pocket Classic. Probably going to be comparing it to the Ioneer Pocket DMG. I think so. So we'll see. But yeah, that should hopefully be out by the weekend. Do my best to get that. But
Cool.
yeah, a lot of comparisons with the retro handhelds. If you want to check out the channel, should be able to help you decide.
Very cool. I'll just throw this up. The Construct had to leave, but you can find him at the Construct on YouTube, and he had to go take care of his family. I think I heard his kids screaming in the background, so he had to go. Yugi, back on the comfy couch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Are you gonna start like a second channel, like Deep Thoughts with Yugi 601,
At this
like
point,
in
right?
that rocking chair on the porch?
Yeah, sipping the tea. You know,
The tea,
Yeah,
maybe
Jay.
watering the flowers in the background with the little.
Yeah, JD
Little
does
watering
coffee.
can.
You can do tea.
yo, I'm telling you. Yeah, man. You guys can catch me anywhere with Yugi 601 or an underscore next to it. I found the notes that I tell you about, Bo. So soon I'll be able to talk about what I wanted to talk. I found the notes, so we're back in business. You know.
Can I say something about notes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Last Monday night, since I didn't have a podcast, I live streamed Blueprints. Forgot that I played that, so I played a little bit of it. Played about an hour and a half on stream. I had to get out a notebook and take notes, Yugi, because there's like you find these little things all over that you got to remember, and it's like there's too much. I can't remember all of this. It's like these are clues. I'm gonna need to know this later. So yeah, you gotta get a notebook with that game.
Get a notebook.
I had to go
sometime.
find that. Like I didn't have one. I had to go find it.
That's how you
It's
know it's a
hidden.
good game.
Tucked away. Yeah, it is a good game. It's a very interesting game. It was a good stream game too, because I felt like it's not like action oriented. It's like you're in a room and you gotta solve some puzzles or whatever, so you can like talk through it with the people in the chat. It was a nice stream game. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Very good.
I can't wait to hear your notes though.
Yeah. I'll share some thoughts about some stuff I've been doing, and then go from there. Whether or not I'll be able to get back to streaming games is another thing, but you know, step by step, you know,
Day by day.
day by day. But I'm happy to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, glad you can make it tonight, man.
For sure.
Zach, where can we find you, bud?
You can find me at the Nerd Cave Network. We stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Tomorrow I won't be live. I'm recording a podcast for my other channel called Building Pensacola. I'm recording an interview with a business owner. So if you like entrepreneurship, you can check me out there. But on Nerd Cave, we talk about all the video game news that you need to know, and we check out games on Tuesdays and just have a good old time and try to brighten everybody's day.
And you've heard some of Zach's Nerd Cave news expertise here tonight, pulling us through on the podcast. So I appreciate you being here tonight, man. I hope that your podcast tomorrow night goes well.
Thank you.
Definitely go check all of these guys out. You can find me right here, also on X, Bono's Gaming YT over on X, because some jerk stole Bono's Gaming on X, so I couldn't get it. It was yeah, I'm working on a review of a game called Beatable. It is a rhythm game. It's in VR. I'm playing it on Quest, but it uses all hand tracking, no controllers, and it's a rhythm game where you're playing drums literally on your table in front of you. You beat the table in front of you to the rhythm of the songs, and it's a pretty cool little game. I think it's really cool because I think games for many people are inaccessible because of the controller itself, right? Some people just can't handle figuring out the controller, or they don't want to. Like, there's an entry to barrier or a barrier to entry there, and all you have to do is use your hands. It just takes that out of the equation, and it's pretty fun to boot. I was just had my parents here this weekend, and my dad played some of it. My dad's older, and he really had a good time with it. So he's not a gamer at all, but he had a fun time, and kept saying, "Are you done?" He's like, "Let me just do one more." So it's kind of fun to see him enjoy that. But I'll have that out this week at some point. And I've got a bunch of other stuff coming too. Several handheld things on the way. I also just repaired. I've got a video coming. I just replaced a disk drive in a Nintendo Wii. So I got a repair video coming about that as well.
Interesting.
For those who are still rocking the Wii, that disk drive's getting old. You might want to replace it before it eats your discs or doesn't spit them out anymore.
Mine's sitting on the shelf. I've got to boot it up again.
It's still some fun stuff on the Wii, man. But yeah, so that's pretty much what you have. I'm going to have a Switch 2 launch day overview, unboxing, maybe a little gameplay, something pretty simple on June 5th, coming out that day as well. So that's what's coming up on the channel here in the next couple of weeks, and we will be back on June 9th. Monday, June 9th I think it's June 9th. If that's a Monday, that's the Monday we'll be back. And I might even show off the Switch 2 live that night a little bit if we have a chance to. And last time we were on, I'll say this real quick. I had announced that we were going to have a special guest on tonight who was an author who was adapting one of his novels into a video game. He had to postpone. That's why he wasn't here tonight. There was a scheduling conflict. I heard from his, I guess, booking agent or whoever it is that handles his calendar. And she was like, "Hey, we have a scheduling conflict, but can we postpone to another date?" And so I'm still waiting to hear back from her about what dates work best for her. So hopefully we'll have him on sometime in June or July before too long. Because I think that'll be really fun to talk to him about what he's got going on.
Sounds awesome.
Very good.
But that has been episode 35 of The Save State. And thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope and pray that you have a blessed rest of your week. And any closing thoughts, gentlemen? You all good?
Well,
I appreciate y'all being here. And we'll talk to you soon. Stay kind and encouraging out there.